And on this episode of Roy's Moto Ventures, my brother installs a set of show chrome fog lights to his 2022 Honda Goldwing. He didn't buy the Touring Edition, he bought just the regular Goldwing, so it didn't come with the fog lights. He's been waiting for another set from, I don't remember what company, but it's in the video. But they were on back order for so long, so he decided to use these. Let's get right to the video. It's a long and intricate one. Enjoy.
Well, I'm back over in my garage today. I'm getting pretty close to at least finishing up what I think of what I want to do on my bike. There's always these little odds and ends that I'm going to be doing, but for the most part, I'm getting close. So I'm back over here today. I'm actually going to be installing some fog lights on my Goldwing. So let me go ahead and show you what I have. Alright, well, I decided to go with the show chrome fog lights. I actually got a pretty good deal on them. They were on sale. I was actually looking at between these, the electrical connection ones, and Pathfinder. Pathfinder are supposed to be brighter, I guess, but they also have like daytime running lights and a strobe mode, and just not, really what I was looking for at the moment. Electrical connections were the ones I was actually going to go with, but they've been on back order for I don't know, since COVID. The show chrome is supposed to be really good as well. A little bit more powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and try to, they basically are supposed to be plug and play. Comes with the button, everything else. I basically just wanted some added light for in front of the bike, and then see how things go. So I just wanted to show you what actually comes in the box from show chrome. So you have basically a bag of all your hardware. This is the mount stuff and zip ties to zip tie your cords up. Then you have the button that goes in your center console. This is your harness cable for that, and then each of the lights. That should be hopefully plug and play. And then the instructions. Yeah, they could probably be better. Instructions like this, especially when they're black and white, is terrible, but we can work on trying to get, watching videos is so much better. But let's go ahead and get it going. Alright, to start, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start on one side and then not the other. I'm going to remove front fog light cover here, which is simply 2 bolts right here, and then it just kind of pops off. So let me go ahead and get that done for you. Actually, what I'm going to do next, after I took the front cowl off, is actually going to pre-assemble all the mounting kit onto the lights. That way I can kind of guess, I can go over there and check out how things go. Looks like what we need to do, there's a couple rubber grommets. One goes into this hole, one goes into this hole on both pieces. I'm going to go ahead and do that next. I always find it easier to use a little bit of this detergent to make it smooth and go in there. Just a little soapy water works perfectly fine. Make sure that they spin freely afterwards so that you got them in there good. I'm going to do the other side and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so I have these now together. The next part is to put basically the little caps that go in there. I don't know what you want to call those damn things, but you can see them right there. They're the little tubes, basically where your bolt's going to go in. So it goes top down, and the other ones go this way with the peg out. Okay, the other side would look just like that. Okay, Then you have the real small collars. Okay? They go on the inside of here. But they're just going to barely sit in there right now. Okay? So if you're going to continue picking this up, I'd be careful about putting those in there. See, they just kind of fall out. And just so you know, the lights are identical, so it doesn't matter which light goes on which side. Just the heads up on that. Alright, so this part's going to be a little trickier. So what I'm going to do is try to put these in here like this. Okay? Without dropping shit. Basically, you want those to go in there and stick. And then the light is going to go in. So the light's going to go in just like this. And you're going to want to bolt that in there. Okay? Using a washer and the Phillips head. You might be able to do one at a time. Nope. You could always use a little piece of a little piece of tape to hold it in there if you wanted to. Make sure to keep everything loose right now. All right, so you can move things around. All right, but that's where we're at right now. I always use a microfiber to set things down. And then the next part is to put this into here, like this. Okay. And how that works is these where the spacers come in, as well as an M16mm bolt and 6mm hex head. So I will go ahead and get that ready. All right, sorry about that. I had to get things together so I know what I was doing. All right, so you're going to use the M6 12mm bolt, and the washer, right, goes through the top into this. That already has a, better check to make sure these are identical. Yeah, okay, so they are. So it goes through the top. And by the way, everything you do is just hand tight. Just like that. So I can have wiggle room to do what I need to in here. Alright, then what you're going to do is a longer one. This is the 22mm. Okay, with a space washer. And then the unflanged head. Okay. So basically, that gets put in here. And the spacer between the two. Like that. And then this goes through and try to get the line up with the bolt. Which then looks like that. Everything's just hand tight right now. Obviously a little bit more on that so that I don't pop it out so easy. Now the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to take a minute and do the other side as well. At this point I recommend tightening that one up all the way. This one you don't want to tighten up all the way because you're going to use it to swivel a little bit. Right? And then you don't want to tighten those up all the way, otherwise you won't be able to swivel it and aim it. So just tighten this one up for now. Now that I'm kind of tightened down, I'm going to take them over and just kind of look at the bike a little bit to make sure I can see how they fit in. I'm recording this video all out of whack because I'm doing one piece and then going back and doing another piece. I'm sure I'm driving my brother crazy. Anyways, after you remove the front, cowl, you got to take out the side cowl. The plug for the fog lights is actually right here. You can't quite get to it because they decided to put it on the back side. So you're gonna have to take the front cowl off and at least loosen this up so you can get down in here to pull off the ending of the cap, so you can plug in your Y harness. All right, so in order to take this off, I'm sure you've done it before, but there's a bolt here, or a hex bolt here and a hex one over here, and it should just kind of like pop up and slide out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that next. All right, so I went ahead and took off, I had to loosen up my highway peg in order to get the side cover off, right? The harness for your fog lights is right here, right? They tell you that you need to remove this, the front cowling, and then both sides of this. So that means you have to remove this piece on the other side and everything else. I can tell you right now, you don't need to. If you just take off this one bolt, it gives you just enough slack that you can reach your fingers up underneath to pull out the dead plug and put in the Y part of the harness. And then you can fish the other piece through to the other side. And when you get the light off, you can pull out the Y and everything. So I put this back on. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put the mount on next for the fog light on this side, but you could put the side cover back on now if you wanted to. But I'm just gonna leave it off for now while I put the mount on this side and plug it in. So I'll show you when I have it loosely up here. All right, so you can see here, this is how it goes together. Okay. It is everything's a super tight fit in here. As you can see, I also got the gold strike tie downs. Okay. But they're in here, and I just pushed the wire down in here for now. I did tighten these up before I went ahead and finished mounting it. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up, these up, this one up, and then the last one you need to tighten up is right here. But that's for your adjustment. Okay. Basically, you don't want to do that until you get ready to, kind of figure out where you want it to shine, and that's going to take some playing around. So don't put the front cover back on until the very end, until you have to adjust this. All right, so I'm going to tighten these down now, put the side panel back on, plug in the harness, which is down in here. I just have it sitting down underneath for now, but I'm going to plug that in, run the wires, zip tie them, and then go to the other side. All right, so I had this side all back together except for the one cowl here, the front light cowl. I have it all plugged in and everything's ready to go. Everything's tightened down except for the angle one. And then I still have to cut this out and sand that down a little bit, but I'm going to do the other side and get it all hooked together. So now I'm going to take out the front cowl on this side, install the light, plug it in, and then I'll have to work on the console to get the button in. Because then once that's done, I can turn it on and see where I want everything to be, for lights, make sure they're nice and level and they're pointing where I want them to go. Let me get the right side done. Pretty much the same deal, except you don't have to worry about the harness. The harness I pulled over as far as I can. I'll try to grab it and then hook it up from there, but I'll show you when that's all done. I just wanted to show you that I do have the right one on now. I was able just to push the cord all the way through, so that does save you some time. I didn't need to take this side panel off or take this off at all. It does save you time if you have hands, you can reach up underneath to grab onto it. And the only other thing I really might have to do is like zip tie some of this in here because the cord's a little loose, but I don't think it's that big a deal. We'll see. But I tightened it all down except for the back and forth to adjust it. So I will do that after I get everything back together and I can actually see what it looks like. Next will be the center console, and I'll do the trick on rather than tearing the whole bike apart to do it, I will do the trick to pop up this piece right here on both sides, pull up a little bit and undo the bolts. That way I can slide this up and out. I'll show you when I get that done. Also, just to be perfectly clear, the instructions they send you are like a Xerox copy of a colored one. And they are really hard to see anything, as you can see. Any kind of detail is obscure. I do recommend going on, you can get them from most anywhere, but like I went on a Wing Stuff and they have a copy of them right there. The color instructions, the same exact instructions, but they're color and digital, so you can zoom in if you need to see something. It helped me a lot with this part here and this part here, because that way it told me where the pieces went and how the bolts went in. It's really helpful to get the digital color version of that. All right, so what I'm going to do is do the shortcut and remove the center console. To start with, what you can see is there's two push pins, one right there and one on the other side, same spot. Let's see if I can show you. Right there. Basically, you just push down on the center, and the center of it pops out. You can use a little pick or a little flathead screwdriver to get those out. Then, once you get that out, you just gently lift right here. Right? And it'll pop. It'll scare the crap out of you. Just don't pull too hard, because you don't want to bend the paint. You don't want to bend it too hard. Just enough to pop it up. And you want to lift straight up on both sides. That'll give you access to the 5mm bolt that's underneath, or hex head underneath there, that you can, get these up and move this out. I'll show you when I get this open. So when you go to pull up, you can put your two fingers just right there and you pop it up. That's about as far as you want to go. But then you can see those are the bolts right there. One right there and one right there. And then you should be able to push forward a little bit, and slide up on the center console. Let me get those bolts out. So what you do is slide forward, and then you lift up here, and I have it loose now. I'm going to grab a couple towels so I can kind of flip this thing over a little bit without damaging it, without scratching anything up, and then I'll show you when it's upside down. What I forgot to mention to you was, let's see if I can show you. There's two more push pins right there on either side. You kind of need to pop those out. So now I got it flipped upside down, sitting on some things. That'd be nice. It won't be damaging anything. And your next step is to take off these 4 bolts, which takes off the side cover. Right there. Okay. Just a heads up, the long screw goes towards the front of the bike. The short screw goes towards the back of the bike. Okay? And then these just pop off, and I will take them off and show you the front side. Alright, so when you get the side covers off, you take out the 4 bolts. There's a bunch of clips in there. If you just kind of pull, they will snap off, they will snap out. And they are labeled, right in here. Let me see if I can turn the light on so you can see it. Yep. So after that, these 2 little bolts right here, or the 2 little screws you take out right there, one on each side. That's the only thing that's holding this glossy black thing on. And there's a little clip up here. Once you take off those, it should just pop right up and out. I'll show you when it's off. And then the glass, basically these are your dummy plugs. The good thing is, I'm pretty sure I go right here for the fog lights. Because that's heated seat. This would be home link, so this should be the fog lights. So I'll take out this one right here and replace the dummy. So basically you just remove the bolt, there's a little thing right here, and this should just pop right up out, just like that. Okay, and then you just put in your new one, just like that, and it just pops into place. And then I'll bolt it back down, and then that's in there. Works out, so that's there. Then you reverse the process. You put the center one back on, the center one this thing back on and the side pieces, and reverse the process to get it all back together, and I'll show you when it's back all together. All right, I do have everything back together right now except for the front cowls, right? I just wanted to test things out, and so when I hit the button, the green light comes on showing you that you do have fog lights on. And you can obviously see where they are right now. Really nice. So now I'm just gonna have to aim them. Basically, you just aim them where you want to aim them, and then cut out the pieces from on your front cowls and put the front cowls back on. That's it. I'll show you when I have them aimed and ready to go. The final piece of this is to cut this out. I'm going to use a little hand hacksaw and then like basically a nail file and just file them down so they're nice and smooth. That's the last part, and then you just put those back on. I'll show you when I have them done. Alright, I have the holes cut out and everything's ready to go. Basically that's just going to go back on, and that's what it's going to look like. Looks pretty good. So I went ahead and bought basically door edging to put around the opening here. First of all, it'll clean up the opening. Even though I did a really good job, it'll clean it up some. Plus, it'll also close the gap a little bit between the cowl and the fog light. There was a pretty decent gap, so I think I'm going to try this. Basically, you want to just kind of roughly measure it, go a little bit longer, and then you can trim off more and more as you need. I'll show you what I have it cut up. So that's what they look like when I have the edging in there. It doesn't look too bad. I put the seam at the top because when you're down, you're never going to see that hardly ever. You could try to glue it if you want, but I'm just going to let it be in there. The edging is really cheap, and when you buy it, you get a ton of it. I can tell you right now, almost the exact measurement is 7 3/4 inches. So if you want to start at 8 inch, you could just start at 8 inch and work your way back. But it is almost dead on 7 3/4. If you wanted to, you could just go a hair over and then try to squeeze it in. That way it's nice and tight. You don't got a big gap. Okay. I think they look great like this. All right. This is what the fog light looks like when I got it all buttoned up. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? The gap's mostly gone. All right. I just want to show you a picture of what they look like with the fog lights on. I do like the fact that even with this standard, when you turn the fog light on, you do get a light for fog light. Okay? And this is what it looks like with the fog lights on. I haven't tested them out on the road yet, but I do have them aiming kind of high, as you can see. A little bit off from each other, but not too bad. I can't wait to see what they look like in the dark.
Well, that was a video about my brother installing show chrome fog lights to his 2022 Honda Goldwing. He did an excellent job. They look great. And he had a real good idea using that truck door trim there, molding for the hole for the fog lights. Great idea. What do you think? Leave comments below. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified when we put out new videos. Harley or Goldwing. And maybe sometime in the near future, other motor brands. Anyway, give us a thumbs up. And hey, we'll see you next time. Stay safe out there and enjoy the ride.